Assalamu alaikum. Today's our topic is about nutritional needs during pregnancy. So, what are the nutrients which are necessary to be consumed on daily basis in pregnancy time periods, and also after pregnancy and lactation? What are the nutrients which are necessary for our? So nutrients need increases in pregnancy due to supply the nutrients to both mother and the developing babies. So to develop maternal organs like uterus, placenta, and the breast tissues also dependent upon essential nutrients. So to build body nutrients reserves during the first trimester, qualitative improvement of the nutrients is needed, and during the third and the second and the third trimester, both the quality and the quantity is needed to replenish the nutritional needs of the developing fetus as well as mother. The first need for pregnant women is energy need. So energy during pregnancy is increased up to 15 to 20% of total energy increase in energy. So additional energy is required during pregnancy, and this additional energy provide the ATP for use for mother and also developing fetus. So additional 300 kilocalories energy is required. If the pregnant woman is a sedentary worker, then they need 1875 kilocalories in resting conditions, and in case of pregnancy they require 300 kilocalories more. So the total energy during pregnancy is absolutely 2000, more than 2000 kilocalories per day. So if the pregnant woman is a moderate worker, then they required this amount of daily energy, and if the pregnant woman is a hard worker, then they require more than 3000 kilocalories per day. So in order to need her requirement and also developing fetus. The next problem during pregnancy is foremost is the weight gain during pregnancy. As we all know that the fetus which is developing inside mother uterus is gaining weight on daily basis. So at the first time they have a little weight, but due to increasing muscle developmental going on in uterus, they gain weight. So it is a natural and necessary to gain weight during pregnancy, as uterus, placenta, breast and also are going to grow, and also developing fetus, and the blood volume which is also increases, blood volume increases, and the body fluid and the fat also increases during pregnancy. Fat also increases because to support the energy need for the body. So the average weight gain during pregnancy is 25 to 35 IBS units. So teen age pregnant gains more weight than the mature women, because in teenage we have severe effects on body if they are consuming pregnancy. So the nutritional demands during pregnancy is first and foremost is energy needs. So the mother need more kilocalories for two reasons, because to supply the increased fuel demands by increased BMR, and during pregnancy BMR during pregnancy is high, so they need more energy, and to spare protein for newly added tissues, because protein is the nutrient which is used to build our body. So they are required to build up our body, and the energy supply from other nutrients, that is carbohydrate and fats. So carbohydrate and fat provide necessary energy, and protein are used to build our body. The next is the protein requirement during pregnancy. Protein is the most important building block for our body, because protein is made up, our body is made up of protein structures. So enlargement due to the enlargement of the muscle tissues and the growth of the placenta, growth of the fetus, and the increased blood volume, formation of amniotic fluid, and this is the fluid which are present inside amniotic sac, and this fluid protect the baby. And the preparation for the labor and the lactation, increased amount of protein is required. Usually the recommended RDA for normal person is 70 to 90 grams per day. So this is the normal RDA level, but during pregnancy we need more than greater than 100 grams per day of protein to need our developmental needs of the body. Due to developmental increases, protein is required in high amount. Calcium requirement. Calcium is the most important micronutrient which is to be supplied in order to function body properly. So calcium requirement during pregnancy is fetal bones development and the fetal teeth development, and also calcium is required for in many other most important essential functions. Decreases the risk of the low birth weight and the maternal hypertension. And pre-simulation help in muscles contraction. Calcium is the most important micronutrient which is important in muscle contraction, as well as help in message transduction from the blood from the brain. So it's also help in neuromuscular junctions. So also help in blood clotting. And RDA during pregnancy is 1 gram, and this increase also and this amount increase also later on second and third trimester of pregnancy. So iron deficiency, as we all know that iron is most important nutrient for building up RBCs. So RBCs are the red blood cells which are synthesized in bone marrow. So increase RBCs production in mother, so to supply nutrients to the fetal body and its body on self. So the building iron stores in fetal liver, so in order to synthesize RBCs of fetal as well as mother. So the normal RDA for pregnant woman is 3 grams per day. If he or she is not getting this amount of iron daily, and they are suffering definitely from anemia, and this is the condition which is seen in about 75% of total population in Pakistan. They are they are suffering from anemia due to deficient iron intake. Folic acid. So folic acid is another micronutrient which is also helpful for the production of RBCs. So folic acid is also important. So RDA for normal is 400 grams per day, mcgs per day. So need for the maternal blood formation and prevent fetal neural tube defects and improve birth weight. So as we know that the neural tube defects and low birth weights are the most common diseases seen in newborns which are premature. So they cannot survive well, and they are getting died after a short period of time due to neural tube defects. And birth weight is also the most important factor which contribute towards unhealthy life. So folic acid consumption is also important because they are required for the formation of blood, and also neural tube defects if we are getting low amount and low birth weights. So the pregnant women in later on trimesters need 6 to 6000 milligram mcgs RDA per day in order to provide its own needs. And the other consideration during pregnancy is to avoid caffeine, smoking, alcohol, and other we can say that जो कि हमारी जो है नहीं यूज़ करनी चाहिए, उन सब आदत को छोड़ना चाहिए. So avoid caffeine, smoking and alcohol is because they contain toxic they also contain toxic metals, as well as many toxins which are present inside smoking. They can develop cancer, as well as they can cause brain defects in newborns. Smoking and also caffeine and alcohol is the another toxic liquid which we consume, which we unfortunately consumes. So avoid caffeine as it crosses the placenta and enter the fetal blood circulation, because they can easily cross the placenta and increase the risk of premature delivery. So premature delivery is also due to taking such amount of avoid chemicals and smoking and alcohols. So avoid smoking as it result in placental abnormalities and low birth weights. And alcohol can cause the low birth weight. LB means low birth weight, and the growth retardation and mental retardation. Mental retardation is commonly because if mother is consuming alcohol, is alcoholic, or we can say that smoking, because they definitely directly affects our brain system and all the disease which causes brain malformation is because of taking such amount of toxins material. Important of nutrition during lactation is very during lactation. So nutrition is also very much important during lactation, because baby is completely dependent upon mother for her nutrition. So the mother need extra nutrition to nourish her baby and provide its own needs of the nutrition. So inadequate maternal nutrition affects the normal growth of the baby and ultimately mother itself, because nutrition are essential for both groups. During lactation, nutrition requirement increases because it supplies the nutrients to both mother as well as child. Is a pathological condition. Fetus can also require fetus is also dependent upon oxygen for its survival. If the hemoglobin percentage is lower than 11 grams per deciliter of the blood, then fetus is going to die because of less supply of oxygens. And CDC recommends the 10.5 grams per deciliter of hemoglobin percentage in the blood, because fetus cannot survive without the oxygen, proper level of proper supply of oxygens. Iron deficiency, anemia, suspectability. So which population group is more susceptible to iron deficiency, anemia? Because anemia is mostly related to iron deficiency or folic acid deficiency. So this occur mainly in infants and children which are less than you can say it 1 year of age, because they are totally dependent upon our mothers for their nutritional needs, and they do not eat much of the soiled stuff or any other, or can digest any other foodstuffs. So menstruating females, during the menstrual cycles, females also loses many of its iron in bleeding, and that's why iron deficiency anemia occur in most females. Teenage females are also susceptible to iron deficiency anemia, because during menstruation and periods, they can lose much of their iron, and uterus wall is breaking down, and much of the blood is lost. So that's why the iron deficiency anemia occurs. And low income women, because many of the deficiency diseases occur due to socio-economic factor, because in order to maintain healthy lifestyle and health of our body, our body require also supply of nutrients, and this is dependent upon our economy. So what are the sign and symptoms? What are the sign and symptoms of iron deficiency anemia? Usually the main sign and symptoms which very much pretty clear that we are deficient of iron is the weakness. If anybody feel weakness or fatigue or poor work performance, definitely they are getting anemia, because our oxygen hemoglobin level and decides our workout and our performance. Men's are have, I think, pretty much sure that 14 deciliter per 14 milligrams per deciliter of hemoglobin, so they can perform heavy work, and they have stamina to do heavy works. Females have low level of hemoglobin, and they do not perform low level of hemoglobin. Females have low level of hemoglobin and RBCs, so that's why they do not perform heavy works, because the oxygen carrying capacity is low in case of females. And so in case we feel weakness, fatigue, poor work performance, these are all the signs and symptoms of iron deficiency anemia or anemia, we can say that. And physical signs and symptoms includes fatigue, coldness and paresthesia. Usually these are the signs, physical signs and symptoms which we experience due to anemia. And infants and young children with iron deficiency anemia have low IQ levels and poor motor and developmental poor motor development, learning behaviors, learning and difficult in the learning and behavioral problems due to anemia. These are the common signs and symptoms which are occurring in inside females, as well as iron deficiency anemia can also occur in males, but mostly females are the victim of iron deficiency anemia. Another is the treatment of the anemia. If any one person is suffering from anemia, then how anemia is we can say it treated. So food is the ultimate source for our health and well-being. So in order to replenish iron deficiency, we have to eat such type of foods which are meat and fish and poultry and eggs are the main source of organs. They can reverse the anemia. And organ meats and the special organ meat, especially the organ which are which we already know that liver is the main source of iron, and organ meats are the most important, and we can say that organ meats are the superfood for iron deficiency. We can say that anemia, because liver contain many important nutrients. Organ meat, we use liver as an organ meat. Peas and beans, these are the plant-based sources of iron, and we can consume on we can say we consume beans and peas and dry fruits and whole grains and cereals to reverse our anemia.